thieves stormed the luxury retailer in broad daylight, stealing $300,000 worth of merchandise. Supporters of Prop 36 say it's a necessary step to address the rise in retail theft and drug-related crimes.
So, being raised up in a place like the Bay Area, I got a soft spot for Cali, the Bay, places like San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, more specifically San Jose, because that's where I was raised. But there's something about the Bay that will forever be with me. However, the reputation of this place has been completely tarnished due to the politicians who run our beautiful Sunshine State and their need to appeal to the quote-unquote woke mob. Now, the Bay Area is inherently woke. It is the mecca of woke. It is a factory of wokeness. It produces at scale, at bulk, this woke ideology, right? It is a deep blue reservoir, and it has been that for 60 plus years. And for the first time in history, at least in the history that I know, right? Personal history, California has been flipping red. Now, some people think to themselves that, this is just a fluke type of thing. This was just one election and, that's just the natural consequence of time. No. This is what happens when you allow criminals to be protected while the citizens have no safeguard. When you are defunding the police and you are funding the criminals. Now, that may seem real conspiratorial, right? As if I'm just drawing these conclusions. But what does it mean when you allow individuals to walk into a store to snatch and grab $940 worth of merchandise and to leave the store without any repercussions? If they were caught, it would be a slap on the wrist. There are people who work in these stores who are watching criminals taking and leaving. Now, this is the same state that has essentially outlawed your right to protect yourself even within your own home, right? You will be in more danger if you pop somebody who broke into your house than you would if that person popped you, or that person would be the type of trouble that person would be if they popped you, right? They would have a lesser of a sentence for breaking in and doing something to you than you would have for defending yourself, because California has fallen into, it's a Marxist ideology, right? It's a do as thou wilt type of mentality where there is no objective truth, or at least there's no respect of an objective truth. There is a worshiping of individuals who have identity markers, which is race, gender, the lack thereof, disability. These are the ones who are highlighted as the most important within our society, the ones who must be taken care of. And so the other subsects are, homeless, and if they're a homeless person of color, then they must be protected by our law, even if they're criminals, even if they're breaking into people's properties, even if they're taking a doo-doo right in front of people's business establishments. They must be the ones protected. We need to give these folks needles, not take them out of their hands and put them into rehabilitation centers. No, that's a violation of their human dignity and their rights. Whereas you as an everyday citizen has to put up with this shit, literally. And I do mean literally. In San Francisco, there is an app, a well-known app, that helps you to track down human feces because it's that much of a problem. Yeah. So that being said, we got this little news clipping of harsher shoplifting and drug penalties now in effect in California. So again, this last election cycle, we voted our way back into some level of sanity. And I believe they said every California county voted for this, which shows you that even the folks who are the most woke and the most pandering towards, the minorities and the disenfranchised and whatever other names they have for certain subsects of people, even these white liberals are like, we are tired of the crime. They might not tell you up front. They might not say it in your face. They'll put a big old smile on while they get their purse jacked from them. But the votes said something different. So let's get into this, and I'm going to give the rest of my little 2 cents.
Here in California, Prop 36 goes into effect today. Californians overwhelmingly approved it in November as an answer to the rise in crime that some attributed to the passage of Prop 47 10 years ago.
Prop 36 stiffens penalties for certain crimes, particularly for theft and drug offenses. KTLA's Omar Lewis live in Glendale with more. Omar, good morning.
Jessica and Frank, good morning. Some local businesses and other supporters are hoping that this new law serves as a deterrent against organized retail crimes like the case we saw right here at the Americana just last year. Proposition 36 also imposes some tougher penalties for shoplifters and drug traffickers. We can take you to the video this morning and tell you here that after winning voter approval by more than 68% in last month's election, Prop 36 is now in effect. The new law makes shoplifting a felony for repeat offenders, allowing prosecutors to combine thefts over time exceeding $950, and introduces strict sentencing for drug dealers, specifically those trafficking fentanyl. Last August, here at Glendale's Americana Shopping Center, a brazen robbery happened at the Yves Saint Laurent store where at least 30 thieves.
Okay. If I had to step into the position of mayor in San Francisco today and I had to like put in a quote unquote executive order, my first executive order would be that any criminal that you see yourself committing such a crime, stealing, you saw breaking in a jewelry store. I would constitute a law where you can knock their ass out cold. Bop! Put the beats on them, and the person would have immunity. The same way you have immunity if you have if you steal under $950. The same way you give immunity to those individuals where they do not have a true criminal charge put on their record. I would make it that you can put the beats on that person, mollywop them, pop, pop, pop. Maybe you can't murk them. Maybe you can't pop. Maybe you can't pop them in that way, right? Maybe then I'll put in a taser law and things of that nature where it's like if you tase them, it's all good. You're going to be fine. You're covered. You're covered under the law. But at least a molly, because I saw that dude right there and they caught him and it's like the Amazon driver couldn't do very much. He's just kind of pulling the package. I was mop. I swear to God, the law might not change overnight, but it's going to change to some extent. And they might have to then start, using weapons and things of that nature. Then we can combat that with what we need to combat it. But as long as these folks are empty-handed, they're just going in their jack and stuff, you can put the beats on them. Pop, 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 pop. I guarantee there is nothing like a good ass whooping to change behavior. You understand me? When you get mollywopped for taking $200 worth of whatever the hell you just stole, and you realize that they broke you off a piece or two, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. There is no Louis belt. There is no Hermes, no Balenci that is worth getting the absolute, and I'm talking about the beats break off of you. Bop, 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 bop. Just some of those. Oh my goodness. It would be a pleasure. I would sign up for that. They should make an app for that. They should make an app for that, making apps about damn human feces. The Beats app.
Stormed the luxury retailer in broad daylight, stealing $300,000 worth of merchandise. Supporters of Prop 36 say it's a necessary step to address the rise in retail theft and drug-related crimes, but critics, including Governor Gavin Newsom and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianca, warn that the measure could unfairly impact vulnerable communities and strain already limited treatment resources.
This isn't going to be an easy task. This is going to be me working with the DA, me working with all of our chiefs of police, and me working with the Board of Supervisors to figure out how we're going to get more beds available for the inmates or for the arrestees that absolutely need to be held in.
So look how nasty this work is right here. Look how nasty this is. So you look to defund the police force, which then affects the lower income households or the lower income neighborhoods, right? So you defund police, which means that the people who are the most at risk of being in, at the receiving end of such criminality, people in the poorest neighborhoods, because that's where most of these individuals are coming from. If we're to be real, it's a very specific culture, very specific type of individuals, usual suspects. Call me an Uncle Tom, a coon, or whatever the hell you want to, but that's the reality. It's the same type of people doing the same type of activity. So you defund the police. Now these people are exposed to that criminal element even more so. So now you have more crime happening. Now you have these retail stores, etc., that are being jacked. Now they're leaving the community, which creates less jobs, right? Which creates less money because the taxes that they pay, whether it's property taxes or sales taxes or whatever other taxes that, that organization, that company has to pay, is no longer funneled into the same cities. So you lose the jobs, you lose the taxes. The wealthy people are leaving these areas. Now you have less money, less resources for just about everything, including the police. So now you have even less money for the police. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. And there are other nuances, of course, I could add to that, but that's just the foundational layman's terms, just straightforward, right? For anybody to understand. You take away this thing, it creates more of this. It's kind of like, we learned how in the ecosystem somewhere. Let's say you have a safari. If you take out the lions, there's going to be an effect on the gazelle. There's too many gazelle. Now too many gazelle means less of these, and then other animals will go extinct. If you have less gazelles, that means less lions. There's always going to be a self-perpetuating if you do not have this balance within that ecosystem. People love to hate police officers, and I understand that there is not this perfect track record of the police force. But they play one of the largest roles in enforcing law. The criminal element gets to exist with free reign. We turn this place into Gotham City when you have no police to regulate it. And the people who suffer are the citizens of those cities. Y'all saw that? You had 100 plus individuals in the parking lot ready to break into a store? Then what happens? Then what? Your entire store is wiped clean. Everything gone. Now you have no merchandise. You just lost $150,000, $200,000 worth of merchandise. You're out of business. Now what? And you got examples of a place like the Fillmore in San Francisco where the Safeway that's been there for eons at this point, right? That was a staple in the community is now leaving because they can't keep up with the criminality. Their business has been in the red for as long as they can remember because of this criminal element. And instead of the council people trying to point out the flaws within their own culture, within their own neighborhoods, they're blaming the Safeway for being racist, for systemic white supremacy. No, they're leaving because they can't be in business. They're leaving because of the danger of even being a customer there. A paying customer. Who wants to be a paying customer in such a place? And yet we continue to push the accountability onto everybody else besides the ones who are committing the crime. Everybody else has to pay the bill besides the individual who's actually stealing. That is so interesting. So let's wrap this up, and then I'm going to give my closing statement.
SDs that absolutely need to be held in custody.
A fast track to state prison and 100,000 plus, 110, 20, $30,000 a year that the taxpayers will bear with no real outcome.
So again, this new law stirring up plenty of debate as to...
That's all I need to see right there. Gavin Newsom is, oh my goodness. That man is the evil mayor of Gotham City. He is Two-Face, but he started as the evil Two-Face. He was never righteous. He was never good for California. He never cared about anything besides his own pockets. Simple as that. And he has been making money off of the criminality. That's why he does not want it to end. He will protect the criminals so long as it means that he continues to line his own wallet. So that is so interesting right there. He's saying, wow, we would have to pay X amount of dollars of taxpayer money just to create more spaces in the prison. I mean, why can't we just put that money into homelessness? Well, yeah, here's the thing. We put $23 billion of our taxpayer money into homelessness, and the problem got worse under you, Gavin. We had a surplus of resources in the billions in California. when Jerry Brown was around. And you step in, and we now have close to $70 billion worth of debt. Gavin. So all of your propositions, your ways and means of bettering the California ecosystem have fallen to the wayside. They have turned this place into the equivalent of a third world country. And he has the audacity to sit there and act like he cares about, well, the taxpayers, but they're going to have to flip the bill. Look, take $100 million of the dollars that you were going to put in, I don't know, laundering into your own pockets, maybe you and your buddies, right? To buy your $9 million mansion that you just purchased. Take that money, right? And put that money towards, I don't know, the prisons, building more of them, adding security, adding police force in order to get the prisoners in prison, to disincentivize other individuals from being criminals, instead of making it, I don't know, okay to be a criminal. How about that? That might work. Yeah, that's my suggestion.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a hardening heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon.